This is Justin AMZN on Tuesday, July 17th, 2018, with a look at the post-market yesterday and pre-market, which we sold off down into the 1815 area, kind of bounced a little bit. We shot down through it, came all the way down to the 1700s, kind of steadied out around 1800, and then pre-market, so it was all after hours yesterday, and then pre-market, we gapped up slightly, chopped around, came back up a little bit through the 1815. I've got the line in here now that I meant to draw in from Friday, and then this is Monday, and here we are on Tuesday. So, this is a really good resistance right here. It looks like, again, pre-market, you got a little bit of support, a little bit of a base going on here. Looking for a move up into the 1815 or possibly into the high here of almost 1820, and then see if it'll roll over and get into the day. So immediately we run up into 1815. It's possible if you were reacting quickly enough, you could have had had an open order to fill at 1815 going short with a stop up above this high. About a $5 risk on the shares or something else in the options. I'm not sure what, because that's a quick move up there. Sell off, we've got almost a 20-point move from the high to the low. And it looks like, okay, we're totally bearish. Everyone who, is selling aftermarket, anyone who is selling here, they're profitable. There's more sellers coming in. We're taking out yesterday's low. We're taking out this low. This was a bullish candle, slightly bullish, a reversal looking candle. So, it's should just continue lower, should just follow through, go lower. So everyone's hopping on bearish, thinking, okay, we're going to pull back quite a bit. We've got this level here. You could say maybe this is a shoulder, a shoulder here, a head here. Now we're into another shoulder. Now we're selling off. Let's get down below this neckline, continue lower. So, looking at it like that, kind of see that picture with the pattern here. So the very next candle, we get bought back up almost into 1815. Again, this could have been, if you missed this entry, this would have been another good place to get in bearish with a stop up here, looking for this to roll over. Next candle pushes right on through. Maybe stopped you out if you base your stop up here. Would have stopped me out if I had gotten in on either of these candles thinking this is going to roll over, hadn't taken profits down here, and actually kind of took out this level that everything's saying it should really hold this level. We didn't actually trade and close through it other than pre-market today. And this was the first attempt that it actually got above it and then rolled back down. And now this is our second attempt to get through it. And we do have a close above it. And we had a couple of closes above it here for candles that traded through, I should say. So, this candle actually had a wick down, traded up and closed above. This one, I guess I'm not really counting that one, but, technically it did have a close above the 1815 price or wherever I got this line. So what was that high and close? Okay, 1815.23. Well, I'm not going to move the line. I like the 1815. It's easier to say than saying the pennies afterwards. Anyway, it's a little bit of a tangent. Now we've got an actual candle up above. Okay, this could still be this resistance area. This is, really close to yesterday's close. Now we can still roll over here. I think I scrolled. Okay, there we go. All right, here's the rollover. Now we're going down. We're sitting on 1815. Oh, wait a minute. Now we're bouncing. Now we made a new high. We've taken this out again. This is actually a strong buying candle that has a high and a close at the same price, 1822. It's not supposed to do that. It should be rolling over right now. Okay, now it's going to come back. And it bounces again on 1815 with that lower wick. Going sideways here. Okay. Now we've got another wick right at 1815 on the dot, to the penny, 1815. I'm telling you, this price was phenomenal. Now we look like we were pulling back a little more. We've got a hammer candle. This one was okay, bouncing there. It didn't go higher. This one now, it's got more selling. It's obviously a bearish candle, but it didn't get bought up as high. But it's a really nice hammer, right on the 1815. Looking like anybody who's seeing this is going to see a double top. They're going to get in bearish down here, loading up, just like it sold off at the open, and it gets brought up. And so anybody who sold down here, who's going short down here, is already losing money because it got back above 1815. And on the very next candle, it's taken out that high. This is a Morningstar reversal, bouncing off of 1815, and it's rested. This is actually rested. It pulled back, gave us an S-curve, and this is where you should be buying. It's holding above this 1815. The candles are still pretty large. You get a $5 range on some of these candles, a little bit longer, a little bit larger on some of these. If you don't want to get in here, okay, let's wait for it to take out the highs here. But that, then, all right, then we're getting in at 1824 with a stop down here at 1812. That's pretty wide. So maybe we'll wait for a rest if it's going to continue. Maybe it does something like this, where it does this double top thing with a lower wick and then goes sideways, breaks out, takes out high, something like that, and then sideways. I mean, that one didn't, but you know what I'm saying. So maybe it'll get above there and then pause, go sideways, and then go up a little more. But if you're buying here, so we're looking for this to roll over. It's not rolling over. That's where you just have to change your mind, change your mindset, and trade the chart in front of you rather than what you wanted it to do. I probably would have, if I was trading this on like a 1 minute, would have been bearish here. I don't know that I would have gotten out down here. I hope I would have trailed out somewhere in here, but this would have been, within, setting it up and getting in within the first probably minute of the open, and then getting out before minute like 6 or 7 as it's running back up. Probably would have made a tiny bit, if not lost, because I was just trying to lock something in and had to chase it back up, and then I'm down when it gets up here, and then you're just losing premium through this sideways, and then it looks like it's rolled over. Everyone's thinking, okay, now it's going. I'm just gonna hold on. I held through this much. I'll take off my stop, or I'll move my stop up a little bit, give us some room. So now you're losing more than an R if it comes back up here. So those are all the bad ideas. That's not the way to trade this. So I probably would have lost on this going bearish and coming way back up here. I didn't think it was going to do that. The way we were talking about yesterday, looking for the 1815 to hold, for it to come up in here and roll over from below. And in this case, it actually stayed above. So let's take another candle, or a couple more. All right, small candle there, big candle there, taking out the highs. That's your breakout candle. Obviously, it's breaking out. It's similar to maybe this one from just yesterday, where it took out the high. Took out the high wicks, took out some candles. After it did a double top, then it takes out a high, and then what happened after this is it paused for about 30 minutes. Well, let's see if we get that today. Nope, it's going to continue up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 40 minutes of buying. Yep, 40 minutes of buying. Straight up. Did not expect that. It didn't pause, didn't give you another entry. This was the trade. This was the S-curve. Pulling back, you could have gotten it set up saying, hey, we're not taking out any of these lows. Let's switch gears. Look at that candle. Let's go bullish. Get into that. Runs up. Now remember, this line, we're stone's throw away from the all-time high, the one we just made yesterday. This high is 1841.95. Already, very early in the morning, we have a high wave indecision candle with a high just about 1840. We're only $1 or so away from the all-time high with this indecision. Surely it's going to roll over here. There's no way it's going to make a new all-time high. Anyone who shorted, anyone who sold yesterday, they're just going to sell it again. There's no way it makes a new all-time high. So there you go. It's going to roll over. Oh, wait, it's consolidating. And it just made a new all-time high. 1841.86, and this was 1841.95. Oh, I'm sorry, not quite there on this candle. Jump again. There you go, that one. It looks like right here, okay, we didn't make it to the high. Now it's going to go, people thinking I'm going to short it at the high. Just what I'm going to do, I'm going to short at the high. They tried here, and it's still going up. It's just riding up this 5 exponential, which is phenomenal to be in if you're in. You just hold on to that till it breaks through that or goes sideways or something. So here's some sideways. So we're at an all-time high, and people are selling again. Some people are buying right here. This is a nice little pair of candles here. It actually takes out that. It looks like, okay, that's a bearish engulfing. It's going to take out the low. It's going to come a little lower, but it's still just sideways. And now it goes even higher. So it ends up making a high in the day. I'll tell you now, 1851.69 with a high wave candle again. Another high wave candle, inside candle. I'm losing that bullish momentum here. It's almost an inside candle, slightly smaller, and then there you go. It's pulling back a little bit. At least comes back down to this same level. So now this looks like a shoulder ahead and starting to form another shoulder, maybe. See what it does, consolidating, and okay, that's a little bit higher shoulder than this one, but you know, that can still be a lower high. That's good. That, you know, that signals that it needs to rest. This starts to look like a little bit more of a triangle. Let's let that form. Okay, it's drifting a little higher than I thought. Let's change the angle there by there. Okay, so we're still riding up on these exponential moving averages. We're not making lower lows yet. We're just making a lower high so far. We got a squeeze forming. And right all through this, you're either trailing up your stop if you're still in. You're watching for any more shorts to be trapped, not knowing right, you know, at this point of the day if that's the new all-time high. Well, I mean, that is an all-time high, but I mean, if it's gonna take it out the rest of the day, we know with that flag on here that was the high of the day. So you got to kind of ignore that when you're going through this. Otherwise, you got to use, I think it's on demand or think back or something to go back through what this day looked like. You got to wait a couple days for it to do it. Some really small candles here, really small. This is where I get my stop really tight, because if these get taken out, it should pull back a little bit more. You know, my stop's probably at 1844, maybe 1845. Probably 1845. I'm okay getting trailed out right here. I'm way profitable if I got in way back down here. And we'll take a look at the options momentarily. So there you go. Looking like it's going to break out. Now you got your stop at 1846. Maybe you added to the position and raised your stops. You know, if you're adding here or adding somewhere in here as it's bouncing. But look at this triangle here. We've got the squeeze. It did do a false trigger with that one and then came back into the squeeze. Now we'll see if it actually continues higher. No, it doesn't. And comes back down. And this is where it actually reverses. So these two candles were almost tweezer. 1851.46 and 1851.35. So 11 cents off from each other, and then the 46 one, that's 23 cents lower than this high. So this is actually the highest 5-minute close right here. Trying to break out again with a consolidation triangle at an all-time high. That's worth trading, you know, if it's going to go, wait for the pullback, then wait for it to, you know, get in on the bounce, because you don't want to buy that breakout. But you know, if you had your stop up here, or if you saw that going and then you raise your stop right below it, probably still keep it below the exponential. So maybe 1846, 47, something like that. Finally stopped out, trailed out if you were in from down here. That's a phenomenal move. Let's take a look at that in the options. So let's say you got in on that candle at 9:30, and you got stopped out on that candle at 13:50, so at 150. So we're pulling back a little bit inside, bullish candle, and it starts to bounce again. It's like, wait, what? Now we're bouncing again. Here's our second bullish close. You know, above these wicks. It closed again up here. It's got, again, tweezerish. 1851.48. It actually took out that high, and then got sold back down 1851.35. Same people who sold here at 1851.35 were selling here again. 1851.35. It doesn't roll the tongue so well. So there you go. Now you got three highs about the same level. And we want to see that probably roll back down again if it's going to do something similar to this in, you know, quick 15 minutes. Maybe it'll do it again. And it doesn't. It just goes sideways. And then it gets sold into the close. I'm laughing because the way this moved today, it looks so bearish down here that you just got to stick to your plan. Okay, if it looks so bearish, set the trade to go bearish. If that gets, if that doesn't work, you get stopped out. It's sometimes you can wait. Sometimes you got to jump right into the opposite trade. Either one would have worked had you waited, you know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, close to an hour to get in bullish here. Or if you had gotten in bullish right away here and a stop down here, you know, that would have worked too. So phenomenal move. Right now we're kind of range bound on a distribution phase. So I'd say about 1840 up to about 1850, 51, 52, somewhere there. We've just, you know, put in a high base, or if it continues, or put in a distribution if it's going to sell back down. So, you know, about 1840, these are the lows, kind of including that 1841, and then these are the highs, 1851 through here. So it's kind of done this multi-high here. So it's got a high here, didn't quite get there, here, here, and here. And I thought we'd see more of a squeeze. If we look at maybe a 15, more of a squeeze, but we're okay right now. But, you know, we're holding the 1841, 42 price because that was yesterday's level. So we can go and draw another line in here at yesterday's highs or yesterday's 5-minute close, something like that. That's the level we're bouncing off here, here, and here. That was your buy point, was yesterday's level. So, you know, it's been a little while since I've done this live. I'll do it right now. Put this in. See if we get the value lined up. Oh, really? Didn't want to do it. Draw. I accidentally clicked the wrong thing. That's my bad. Okay, let's see if we get the value. There we go. All right, I gotta switch back to this. Just bear with me. Haven't done this in a little while live. So let's see. Let's go with the open on that one. 1841.30. 1841.30. 1841.30. And I'm going to extend to the right. There we go. That's our level. Oh, wow. That lined up really nice. 1841.35 is that low. Oh, what was this high? Maybe we'll just take that high. 1841.95. Interesting. So that's where these wicks were dancing off of right there. It looks like it broke down. I mean, this is really tight. You know, you would have wanted to close below that low to roll back down. This one, it took out that high. That's why it moved so much. Came back down, bounce, came back down, bounce. So we're pretty close right here. We can take another look or see how it interacts with it tomorrow or the next day. See if we interact with this level. Have to adjust it a little bit. But zooming out, we're way above this level, this range. I'm going to keep extending this because I think this is the next place we're going to come back down to. I thought today it was going to come back and touch this. Obviously it didn't. It stayed above this range, and it's just putting in a new higher range. The other thing we can do, and I'm going to move this back to where it is, but I know I can't copy it, but I just want to see the range on this. Yep, that is really, really close. So from the high here yesterday to the low here is the same range that we've seen back in here. And then we're right back into it today. So if we do, so I'm going to move it back here. So if we have a similar range to this upward trend channel, we have a similar range to this, you know, from the high to the low, we should see this pull back to a trend line coming up here. And if it pulls back, maybe it'll take a day or two. We should see something come back down, maybe into the low 1800s, maybe 1810 tomorrow or the next day is my guess. Just my guess to see if it pulls back. Now we made an all-time high today. We didn't have as large of a sell-off as we did yesterday. This is a, let's see, let's switch back to the daily. I think this is a bullish engulfing, but it's still engulfing a bullish candle. Yeah, bullish engulfing candle. That squeeze fired bullish. We're only 5 days into that. You know, we definitely have room to continue higher. I mean, 1900 isn't out of the question if this just continues rocketing up. And remember all these people we trapped here. as we started to gap up. This candle, with this candle, we were starting to trap all of these bears. So let's come back over here, zoom in on this, and let's say we got in at 9:30 and got stopped out at 13:50. So on the call, that's getting in on 9:30. So you would have had have a little bit larger risk than $100. It's possible, or you could have been buying $6 by $5 on this one, and it would have just worked. And then you got stopped out on 11. So you had your stop up here to get trailed out. So maybe you got trailed out at $13. So let's say you bought at 6 and got trailed out at 13 if you didn't exit anywhere else. And, you know, so that would have been a 7R trade. That would have been great on a huge day like this. I wanted to look at the options pricing chart like this just to show, again, drawing some lines in here. We had this resistance a couple days ago on the option, came right up into about $5, bounced off of that on Friday, bounced here late in the day Friday, came back, didn't come back to it Monday, and then that's where we bounced off of today. So we stayed above, well, we sold right through it, came up above it, retested to the $5 range, $5 price, just based off of this, and this. You could have been buying at 5 with a stop at 4. That would have been $100. And you could have gotten in 5 up to, say, 13, or 5 up to 15. That would have been a 10R trade. That's what I'm always looking for on this kind of stuff. So the only other thing I was looking at is if somebody was trying to sell up here, looking at the put, they were selling at this price, or they were buying puts at this price yesterday. We just soared right on through that price and didn't really slow down anywhere. If somebody was buying puts at the open, I mean, you would have had to been really nimble to get in and get out. So today's trade, totally, definitely bullish. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is Just an Amazon. Thanks.